certainly Corvette Chief Engineer Zora Arkus-Duntov.
If Harley Earl had the color and flamboyance of a Hollywood movie, Zora Arkus-Duntov had the twists and turns of a thrilling plotline. He came to America and set up Ardun Mechanical, a war munitions company. After the war, Zora shifted gears into the high-performance arena with the Ardun cylinder head conversion for the Flathead Ford V8.
And he was a true pioneer in the hot rod area because no one had attempted to really successfully cobble an overhead valve on a Ford engine, which was the mainstay of the hot rodders at that time. So he was very high in all the esteem of all the enthusiasts.
Zora was exactly what General Motors needed. They just didn't know it yet. That would all change at one of Harley Earl's Motoramas.
I was so enthralled with that Corvette design. After it came out at the Motorama, I bought one. And it was a wonderful car. You know, every time I went out and looked at it, my heart fluttered. It was an emotional design. But after living with it for a little while with the plastic windows and no door handles and a six-cylinder engine automatic transmission, it wasn't quite what the design promised. And then Zora came. He had seen the same car at the Motorama.
When he came to New York and he saw this Corvette and he said that is the most beautiful car that he had ever seen, he really said that, except it has nothing under the hood. So he suggested that he should do something with this car.
Zora wrote a letter to Ed Cole, then Chevrolet's chief engineer, assessing the car. Cole was so impressed with Zora's insights that he asked Zora to join Chevrolet as a research and development engineer.
He thought it was a good sports car. So, of course, when he came, he put a V8 engine in it. That came out in '55. And got his arms around the performance and handling of a Corvette. And where the 54 sales were sliding off for lack of the performance and handling, Zora put it back in, and the car took off.
I was always very impressed with him just because I had known of his accomplishments, the racing at Le Mans and his work with Cat Allard and his designing of the Ardun engine, both the big engine, the big V8 and the small V8 60. And he was truly a pioneer and a leader of high performance that had never been brought out in America at that time. There was nothing around that was like that.
To prove the viability of the V8, Zora took on Pikes Peak. His record stock car run, 17 minutes, 24 seconds, went unbroken for 13 years.
But Zora was, his racing legacy is second to none in the corporation.
In 1956, at his beloved Daytona Beach, Zora broke the flying mile record in a Corvette with a speed of 150 miles per hour.
A sports car that proved its mettle last week, racing against time at Daytona Beach, Florida. The new Corvette with dual 4-barrel carburetors, 225 horsepower in that high-compression V8 engine, running the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing measured miles. And Chevrolet sets new American sports car records for acceleration and the flying mile. The winner, the new Corvette.
In 1957, Zora became Corvette's engineering coordinator and was named director of high-performance vehicles.
And Zora went on to create a number of other purebred race cars and daring prototypes. He also, in the process, received a number of different patents. For a guy like Ed Cole, it was almost like having your own version of Enzo Ferrari as part of your engineering staff.
He was also charged with organizing a factory race team for the 1957 Sebring race. The result was the Corvette SS. It's tuned 283, delivering 307 horsepower. In 1963, Zora became responsible for the Corvette chassis and engine design.
Zora was the other maestro. I don't know if you can have two maestros, but Bill Mitchell and Zora. And they really respected each other, but they really didn't get along with each other, because a lot of things that Bill Mitchell wanted to do were flew in the face of what Zora wanted to do from a performance standpoint. Bill wanted a certain look, and Zora said, well, that's going to increase the frontal area, or that's going to induce lift, or whatever, or create more drag. And so they go around and around, but they were one heck of a twosome. And Zora was a brilliant engineer.
Design and engineering were partners. We were partners. We could not do without the other. But we fought a lot. And we fought with Zora, because Zora had very definite ideas. I remember the 63 split window coupe.
Excited. Tell me your general feel. Tell me, what do you think about acceleration and traction?
In 1968, Zora Arkus-Duntov became chief engineer of the Corvette, the car that had drawn him to Chevrolet.
You know, Zora was the engineering genius, and he had the heritage of European racing and winning Le Mans in his class. I believe he won in his class. And he was an avid pilot. He flew right up to his last few days, which is kind of scary. And you know, no matter what he did, he kept his foot in the door on Corvette. And I remember he called me, and he said, "Jerry, you come for dinner Sunday?" I thought, "Sure, Zora, that'd be great." Lolita, my wife. So we went over to Zora's house for dinner, which was, hadn't over for dinner before. We'd stopped by once or twice, but never over for dinner. Walked in the door, gave him a martini, and boom, upstairs to his study, and opened up his files. "You're going to use this transaxle in your Corvette you're doing, eh?" "Right, that's it." He says, "That is my design."
Well, Zora was a true Renaissance man. I mean, he had creativity, passion, engineering talent, and so forth. And on top of all that, the guy really knew how to drive. Chances are we're never really going to see the likes of a Zora Duntov again.
Zora is the one that gave it physical life and an ability to perform and handle.
It's very interesting to reflect on Zora Arkus-Duntov. He was a car line chief engineer. He never got to be director of engineering. He never got to run the division. He never became chairman of General Motors. And yet, in the years that he was involved with General Motors, all those countless individuals who became president, who became chairman, will be forgotten. I will defy anyone in the year 2000 to remember any of their names, but everybody will light up when you say Zora Arkus-Duntov.